Hey. Popping one, huh? Been that kind of a day. Oh, it's a Fresca. Never mind.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Cool.
I'm good. It's a little weird because this is a different night than we usually do it.
Yeah, it's throwing me all off.
I know. That's my job.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it, yeah.
Keeping him on his toes since 2020.
Yeah, more or less.
That's pretty much it.
Which reminds me, I guess our, I don't know, when did we start this? Is it June?
Forever ago.
Yeah. So that should be coming up. And 100.
Was it June?
100th episode should be coming up pretty soon, too.
Wow.
I'll have to figure that one out. I'll have to count out the weeks and see.
What were we thinking?
I think we had both had a little to drink at Morimoto. And we were like, podcast. Yes, let's do that. That'd be fantastic. Oh,
I mean, that's the thing. In what was it, May of 2020? May of 2020, when someone asks you, so what are you doing? Yeah, you have any extra time?
Right.
You're like, yeah, I've got extra time. All I've got is extra time.
Well,
yeah.
It just kind of sticks around, it was fun to have at the beginning, and now you can't get rid of it. A lot like syphilis.
Oh. I wouldn't know, really.
Would you not? Well, that's good. I
don't want to know.
Would not know. Like maybe the concept I can grasp, but physical experience, personal experience, I am
for what you grasp.
At a loss. That's true. At a loss. At a loss.
But if you're going to grasp something, I've always said you might as well grasp.
Spoiler, Patrick.
No. I don't know. I was gonna say you should grasp Ted Danson's face.
Ted Danson's face. Yes, there's many places to grasp Ted Danson on his face. We got into this discussion the other night, and that's why I sent you that pin. Is that I think something we were watching on TV or something was talking about sort of the hunky heartthrobs of the 80s or something like that. And
he was on the list?
Well, see, that's my point. He ostensibly he was, right? He was supposedly that. He played a supposed sort of like, womanizing ladies' man on Cheers, Ted Danson. And I was just pointing out, I never got that. Like, I'm not, I am one to point out a damn handsome looking man. And,
yeah, exactly.
And we were talking about how it was sort of like somebody took a survey of women and perhaps also gay men and said, what is the feature on a man's face that you find the most attractive? And some would say like maybe strong chin. It's very nice. I like the eyes and sometimes the hair or whatever. And they got this list and they said, all right, we'll take the top 6 and we'll turn that into a dude. And it was like none of them, like all of them on their own are probably very attractive, but they don't go together. They're like you took 10 people, took the most attractive 10, like sort of virile men, right? Like from the 80s that were like David Hasselhoff types, which a handsome man. See, that guy, handsome man. Now, his personality and his, questionable casting decisions may add some color to that makes him a little less attractive, but like just on its own, physically speaking, that guy's pretty attractive. But it's like you took like the most attractive feature from like 6 different people and took them off of those people and put them all on the same person. And so they're all there. In concept, the math says it should work. But
Ted
somehow
Danson.
it doesn't, because they don't go together. It's like you
Ted
kid
Danson.
bashed a hot guy.
Ted Danson, a face put together by committee.
It is. Basically, yes.
Yeah.
He has committee face.
Committee. Oh, I'm going to use that. That's going to, you know what? We're going to use that for people who are like, yeah, I can, like, you see the person, you're like, yeah, I guess I can kind of see why somebody might find that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They got committee face.
Yeah. It's like, that's
it's like
something wrong.
It's like
a
just
little
doesn't-
off.
It's like you know, like being at the symphony and like one of the strings is out of tune.
Yeah.
You're like, it's something's just not.
Right.
It's what is that called? What's it called? The uncanny valley. It's like uncanny valley.
It's almost like the midpoint between uncanny valley and regular human, because I mean it's human, but
Yes,
it's like you're
okay.
looking at it and you're like,
It's
something's not right there.
so
It's not clicking.
Right. It's actually. Yeah. I like that we have created this new space now between uncanny valley and.
It's perhaps
Human.
the canny valley. I don't know. Can something be canny? If it can be uncanny, I would assume that it can. That canny
valley.
is a thing, but
Not to be confused with Comedy Valley. This is Committee Valley. Not to be confused with Chlamydia Valley.
no, you don't want to go there. No,
That's very different.
That's on the other side of
Literally and
Ted Danson.
figuratively. Right.
But yeah, I think that the discussion got started because we saw him in an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and
okay.
he and Mary Steenburgen were in there. As,
How do you say her name?
Mary Steenburgen, right? That's her. They're the couple, right?
I don't know. Siri just thought I was talking to her. I said, "How do you say your name?" And Siri came up and was like, "Can you?"
Like, hey, you want me for something?
No. Who'd you? Somebody else?
Oh,
Somebody?
sorry.
Huh? What? Somebody else? Somebody else?
And we were also talking a bit about Mary Steenburgen, how like she's great and all, but she does have that kind of like, even when she's not, like, I don't know how old she is, but like even when she was younger, she had this sort of not old lady vibe, but like there was just this manner about her that said, like, she fit in perfectly in Back to the Future 3, because like that, I don't know, old timey or something like that, like not being old necessarily.
That's what people want to hear.
But being like old timey.
I'm not saying you're old. I'm just saying you're old timey.
Right. You fit in a Western because that's what you're exuding. And I'm sure they're both lovely people. And she's from Little Rock or something. And so, because I am as well, and she's from around there anyway. And my grandmother absolutely loves them both because they are celebrity people who have a house in Little Rock. And so she's
hometown pride.
And she loves her some Becker, the thing that Ted Danson was in, where he played the doctor. She refers to it as Dr. Becker because she doesn't want to be rude to the doctor.
Disrespectful.
But
right.
Quite literally, that's.
But she realizes he's not. It's Ted Danson, right? He's not actually a doctor. He's not
She
actually.
realizes
Committee
it's
Face
Ted
is not
Danson,
actually a
but
doctor.
I'm not entirely sure she doesn't realize that he is a doctor, or he's not.
Oh, yeah.
But hey,
I have a
old people,
theory
right?
about how they were able to get away with, and I think realistically get away with, the whole Ted Danson sex symbol thing during the Cheers era. Yeah.
They just kind of committed to it and kept telling people over and over and over again until people were like, "Okay, fine."
So that is part of the I think part of it is if you set the premise, like you say, like, hey, here's this guy, and you may not believe it because he has committee face. You may not believe it, but he is desirable. He is desired by all of these women. There's various women who come in with shoulder pads and bangs, and bad perms.
Yes,
like they're like all these, but they love this guy. They love this guy, right? So if you do that enough, you start to think like, oh, he clearly must have something that I should be desiring, and there you go. Similarly, I'm pretty sure you could take somebody. Imagine George Clooney, who I think we can all agree on is not committee face.
No. Definitely a handsome fella, that guy.
Right. So, but if you took him and you took his character and you maybe like think of George Clooney as I'm calling him George. Hey, George. I call him George. He's just George.
G-Dog.
Imagine Gus. I just call him Gus actually.
Gus.
Imagine.
I call him Frank. Gus. He hates it, but I keep calling him.
You can't stop me. Mostly because he doesn't hear
him a little bit. Yeah.
Imagine his character from "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?"
Yes,
Oh,
Ulysses Everett McGill.
Right. And take that. See that version of him. I think of all the characters, that may be the least attractive of the people he has played in roles.
I suppose
That's
so.
what I'm thinking. Yeah, and so not counting like the Fox from Fantastic Mr. Fox, which is fantastic, by the way.
And a fox.
And fox. So imagine that, but then put him in like a real world situation where here he is as that character, and maybe you encounter him in a Walmart, and he's wearing like a wife beater undershirt. I don't think I'm supposed to call it that actually, but
it's probably a little problematic.
It's just, I don't know. You know what? Maybe you should choose a different kind of undershirt. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, because it doesn't do anything. Why would you choose a shirt that's associated with a terrible
I've never understood
it doesn't do anything.
Appeal.
And we've talked about this, I think. But,
it's like people saw them in mob movies and they thought they were cool, and so they wanted to wear them as well or something.
So, but imagine encountering George Clooney looking like the guy from "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" in a Walmart wearing an undershirt of some sort that probably is not appropriate to wear in most places, but the Walmart, you can get away with it. Imagine that.
You can wear a lot in Walmart.
I don't think you then, if you see him there, and then you see him with his significant other, assuming it's just, and she's just not that good looking. Like maybe she's just, missing a tooth. Not that there's anything wrong with people missing a tooth, but in Walmart bingo world, it is definitely a block on the card. It's not, and I'm not like a, and also maybe it's just it's a bad situation, and you see these two, and you're 6 kids, and you I think if you walk by them, I know I've just offended like so many people, but it's okay, it's fine. You walk past them. I don't think you turn around. I don't think you bend. You don't turn your head to take another look. I think you just keep going. My point is that the context.
Yeah, it's all about context.
Is important. Yeah. The context and the premise, right? If on the other hand, you saw same situation, but the person he was with was beautiful.
Right.
You might think, oh.
It's almost like proof of purchase, right? It's almost like a resume.
Association.
This is the kind of person that is attracted to me. Therefore, they're kind of vouching for me in a certain way.
Yes. And also, I think it also is related to the halo effect where, and this has been documented in real studies, not Jason studies, but real studies in school environments where if a teacher is told something good, this is a good student, this is a high achieving student or whatever, they treat them differently,
right? Yeah.
Then they'll treat somebody who, if they're told the same person, if they're told, oh, this person's an underachiever, or they're not so good, or they have like they literally treat them differently, and then that one situation that could be based on complete non-reality can then impact that child's future because of the halo effect, where because you get this reputation. And I think it's like this is the committee faces Ted Danson's like situation in Cheers. Plus the context. He is in a bar. He's a bartender, folks. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a bartender.
No, absolutely
what I'm
not.
saying is that he's largely fishing in that pond.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? The pond in which there are single women coming into a bar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but I tend to think of a certain, like if you're a single woman and you're going into a bar all dressed up, looking nice, right? And you do it on a regular enough basis, people start to then think like, oh, I can talk to her. I can go, I can like, it's the whole setup, the whole premise of the show. I'm saying like, it's like the dating game, but in a bar. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and his character brings his own kind of context to it as well, being an ex-major league pitcher.
Right. Yeah.
So he used to play for the Sox, and so that is its own sort of context, just with the character.
I forgot about the backstory.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so there's an allure.
Right. Sports,
although he must not, I mean,
guy.
but he wasn't like high achieving, right? I mean, he's high enough achieving to be in
in the majors, but I don't remember if it was sort of generally accepted that he was a really good pitcher and just like an injury took him out, or if he just had a good season and then kind of fell off and nobody cared after that.
I don't know, maybe I just
that part.
Maybe I just misread the whole bar scene. I mean, I was never a bar scene person, so I'm probably not the best person. That's like asking me about like, how I feel about Universal or something. Like, I don't know.
Right.
It's fine.
I know where it is.
I just think I'm thinking back to the show, and I think the women who tended to come in, who he would then sort of latch onto or try to latch onto, there was always like they were in distress, or they were like just freshly broken up, or they were like there was something that he could take advantage of in the situation, right? So it wasn't even like he was necessarily, they weren't coming there for him.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, word on the street is this really good looking bartender, you should go check him out.
He was actually rather predatory, wasn't he? It was.
The more I think about it. Exactly.
The more you're like, wow, that
he was a womanizing predator. Yeah, this is great. Oh, but basically, there was in every 1980s sitcom.
Yeah, pretty much. If there's a ladies' man kind of person,
either was a dummy dad. It was a dad who was a dummy.
Oh yeah,
or
all of them
it was
stupid.
Or you're a predator. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, think about some of the other shows. Moonlighting.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis, not such a great guy. Funny, charming, but a lot of sexual harassment going on there.
Yeah, good bit. Yeah. I'm trying to think of ones that I keep coming up with ones that are families. What else was there that would be in that regard?
Heart to Heart.
Well, it wasn't a sitcom, I don't think, was it?
I found it hilarious.
My boss, Mr. Hot. It was Night Court, but Dan Fielding, I guess, in Night Court was pretty predatory. Yeah.
He was like a poster child for Predator.
But it was also in this weird sort of absurd way that kind of made it not as creepy as Sam Malone was somehow, because it was just so overblown. And all of the other stuff going on there, that was a much more gonzo kind of show than
it
led on.
Oh yeah. Well, I think it led on.
I mean, like, we're a court, or whatever. And
did you ever see that 30 Rock episode where they had some of the cast from Night Court come back?
No.
And they were going to stage like the wedding, the episode that didn't happen. They were going to stage like the wedding episode, and I don't want to give away the.
No, I didn't see that. I loved that show. Night Court was fantastic.
Night Court was amazing, and 30 Rock was. We've just about made our way entirely through it at this point, but I think we have maybe one season left. There's a lot of seasons.
Yeah, it was on for a while.
But it's a riot.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's really good.
I said to Michelle the other night, I literally said to her, I asked her, why didn't we watch this? It's really good. And she says, because we were parenting. I was like, oh, yeah. I forgot.
That's throw a monkey in the wrench a lot of times.
Because we're parenting. And what I think she meant to say is because I was parenting.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right.
She's being very charitable with that we.
Yeah. Yeah, Ted Danson. I think we can come up with more names.
I'm sure he's a great guy. Seems
he's funny.
A nice guy. Yeah.
Do you watch Curb Your Enthusiasm?
We've started watching it. We've started from the beginning.
Okay. Like way back.
Yeah, first season.
Oh, good.
And we're about halfway through the second one now. I guess the second season.
When has Leon entered?
Leon has not entered, to my knowledge.
Okay. I love that show.
I've been enjoying the hell out of it, and we're on the one right now where he is pitching to Julia Louis-Dreyfus the show about somebody who was on a show and can't get out from under a character that they played, and all of that stuff. So that's the episode we're watching right now. So.
Yeah, I should go back and start that over. Maybe I'll do that.
It has such a lo-fi look to it, especially the first season. It honestly looks like it was like, hey, get your camcorder. I want to shoot a sitcom.
I haven't seen the first. I mean, I haven't watched the first season since it was the first season, probably. So the version of it in my head is the current version now. So I would need to go back and look at it again to fully appreciate the budget level.
I mean, it really does look like it was. He just kind of financed it with whatever was in his pants at the time. It's like, I got $35.
He's just great character.
Really good.
Can I ask you another question?
Please do.
There is another pin you had sent me, and I don't think we talked about it. It was Mad Jack Churchill.
Oh, yes.
And yes. I have no idea. Well, I can't make this out at all. Like Ted Danson grab bag of face. Like I could kind of figure that out. But Mad Jack Churchill, I don't know if you're talking about a bourbon, if this was like Winston Churchill's like lesser known brother who was a little nutty. Like I don't know which. I was reminded of this guy.
And it's been a while back because I remember sending you this pin when I was at the Celtic Festival that's over here next door, which started on St. Patrick's Day. So it's been a couple of weeks now. And so you'll have to give me a second because actually Marcus is going to read the internet.
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
The thing is, I will preface it by saying there's a guy. Well, let me ask you this. Which war would you say the last recorded combat kill with a longbow happened in?
The last recorded combat kill with
somebody killed somebody from one military killed somebody from the other military. That was not
in a Rambo movie.
No, in an actual war, really actually happened.
Like something you'd see in like the Archer from Marvel would do this. Would
right, but this is an actual declared war. They are a member of one of the armies.
I mean, I feel like okay, there's the obvious answer in my head, and then there's me trying to get the answer right. And I'm going to just go with the more obvious answer, which would be, I mean,
like, think about when we fought wars with arrows.
Well, right. I mean, like Spanish-American War. Maybe there's some leftover from that they find their way into the First World War, possibly. I don't know. Like, hey, we're out of bullets. Oh, there's that arrow over there. Like,
I'll tell you. World War II.
Wow.
And the man who brought it to you was Mad Jack Churchill. And this guy, not only...
Does your grandfather know this guy? By the way?
He may have. This seems like a guy that's right up my grandfather's alley. Mad John Malcolm Thorpe Fleming Churchill, called Mad Jack, was known for at Normandy. He charged onto the beach. It wasn't in Omaha. It was at whatever the British military. I can't remember which one theirs was.
Yeah.
He charged onto the beach.
By the way,
what was he wielding? He had his longbow on his back. He was playing the bagpipes and wielding a Scottish longsword.
A sword?
A sword. And he killed people with the sword.
Wait, he was playing the bagpipes?
He was playing, and I'm trying to, let me find what he was playing, because they know what he was playing.
How do you do that? How do you play the bagpipes and wield a sword? You need all your hands.
You're Mad Jack Churchill is how you do that. Let me find it. I can't find it now. I would have had a fact sheet drawn up. But, no. There it is. March of the Cameron Men. As the ramps fell on the first landing craft, he leapt forward from his position, playing March of the Cameron Men on his bagpipes, before throwing a grenade and charging into battle. For his actions at Dunkirk and Vagsoy, Churchill received the Military Cross and Bar. So that was actually at Vagsoy, Norway, on Operation Archery, ironically named.
Wow.
And yes, he was just an amazing, and you know what he died of? Old age. That guy not only did all of this stuff, but he made it back. And he was fine.
How did you run across this? How did you come across this?
I can't remember when I first heard of this guy, but I think it was somebody did a Today I Learned on Reddit or something, that it was I learned that the last recorded kill by a longbow in wartime was World War II, and it was this guy, and he played the bagpipes as he charged the beach. And I was like, I need to learn more about that guy.
What time of day was it when you went down this rabbit hole? Was it were you laying in bed and couldn't sleep?
It would seem like a thing like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But here we go. Was a British Army officer who fought in the Second World War with a longbow, bagpipes, and a Scottish broadsword. Nicknamed Fighting Jack Churchill and Mad Jack, he was known for the motto, "Any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed."
Wow.
Yeah. And he didn't mean a ceremonial saber.
Wow.
He meant something that was usually used to throttle knights and whatnot. But, so...
Can you imagine the guys on the boat going in, look at us, so what you gonna do with that? what you gonna do with that?
So, you watch. Somebody else knows the guy, and he's like, dude, don't.
Yeah.
Just stand back. He's gonna need to go first, and wait till you see this. Not Scottish though, the guy. I would have thought so, but he was born in Colombo, British. What is that? Ceylon? Ceylon? Ceylon.
That's T. He was born in T.
He was born in T. Yes, I think that was a colony in partly British occupied India, and later.
Was he Indian?
No. He was part of the Brits that were there, and then later he moved to Hove, East Sussex. So. But, So there you go. Yeah.
I mean,
Mad Jack Churchill, somebody that you should definitely look up, and somebody they should definitely make a movie out of.
That's pretty impressive.
Yes.
That's pretty scary. I'm trying to imagine. I don't like to put myself in the perspective of the Nazis very often. However,
what were you thinking when you saw that coming at you?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking hey guys, look at this guy with the bagpipes. Look at this guy with the bag. Wait, what? Funk. Oh, I'm a shish kebab. Oh no! I should have gone with guys with the ark.
But yes, yeah.
Wow.
I was like, I need to spread the word of Mad Jack.
Mad Jack.
So
that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
One thing we ran out of time to talk about last time.
Yes.
Was the DMV.
And let me point out real quick to put a intra episode pin. The presidential motorcade is also something that we promised everybody that we would talk about. I do have that on.
I do have a sticky. I sticky.
Cool.
I have the sticky says presidential motorcade.
Cool.
It says slipper shoes.
Oh,
I know what that means.
I don't know what that one is. I didn't get a pin on that.
Long data approval and grenades.
Long data approval and grenades. Is that one or is that two separate ones?
That's one.
Awesome.
That's one.
Awesome.
And what is this other one? I swear I think it says Popeyes.
It could.
I mean, I do
love that chicken.
Oh, that's right.
There it is.
Now I remember. Okay. Now I remember.
All right. Well, write it down because I don't know which one you're going to tackle first.
Well, I think I sent you.
You may have
sort
sent
of a
me
pin.
one.
Yeah. But it wasn't obvious. It
didn't say Popeyes.
Okay. It just happened to happen the same day as the DMV.
Okay.
Popeyes and DMV. Okay, so I took Henry to get his learner's permit.
Mm-hmm.
This is during the week of spring break, and I tried to explain to him, like, son, let me tell you about the DMV. Like, I felt like I had to. Like, son, have you ever been to a strip club? It's like I felt like it's kind of that kind of talk. Like, I got to prepare him for this situation that he's about to walk into.
You don't walk into that completely uninformed. Yeah.
And I said, here's the thing, the DMV that we're going to, it's not the best, right? The DMV that you will encounter in your life, but it's certainly not the worst possible one. I've been to many, many, many worse.
Now, is this the one that's over in the nigh abandoned mall?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and that's how I explained it. You see, there used to be this mall. I mean, it's still there, but not really.
Okay. A mall is an indoor area where we used to shop for things.
And now,
back in the
used
before
to have
times.
A lot of stores. And now there's basically like the DMV and 4 places that kind of rotate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of them is a Claire's. And it moves around.
No offense to Claire.
No,
also moves
it's a
around.
different thing.
Yeah. So I'm preparing him for this, and I said, here's the thing about the DMV. It is what I like to call the great equalizer.
Yeah.
In that, unlike anywhere else in life, I think the closest, like on an airplane, you can always, there's always that upgradable option. Like even on Southwest Airlines, you can upgrade to be in that first, 10, 20 people who get on the plane, so you get your pick of the seats, right?
Right.
Or you could just not fly Southwest.
Yeah.
Or you could just do something else. It's pretty much like, I'm hard pressed to think of any other situation where you cannot upgrade this. You cannot shop this out.
Yeah.
You cannot, there's no way, there's no getting around it. Like, whether you are rich or poor, famous or unknown, starting out in life or close to finishing it, like, you have to go to the DMV yourself.
Yeah.
Like you just, I mean, there's maybe some things you like titles and tags. You can like there's services that you can get around. But if you're getting your license, you're going to the DMV. You have to. And so when you end up there, I'm like, so son, when you get here, this is like, and you ever heard of like jury of your peers? Like, hello, welcome home. This is it. This is going to be the experience. So we get in there. We have the appointment. Mm-hmm. We have an appointment, and it's immediately unclear what the system is.
Yeah.
Right. There's a line of people coming out from the hidden zone, which you can't see into, wrapping around to the unhidden zone and out into the mall, quote unquote, mall area. A line. And then there's a big digital board in that same room where people are kind of queuing up with a whole bunch of names on it and times. And I can't tell, like, and you know, the people in line, like some of them don't speak English very well, and mm-hmm. some of them clearly you don't really want to talk to them, mm-hmm. and so you're not sure, like, and who here has any authority to answer a question, like how am I going to trust that so I'm thinking about this. I got to find out what's going on here. What's the program? Right. I'm going to try to find somebody in this line to ask, well, like, what are you queued up for? Right. And because we have an appointment. And so I'm looking at this line, and I'm trying to think, like, who here I both probably knows what they're talking about, but also won't be insulted when I clearly don't believe them. Like, you know, because I'm going to get their input, and then I'm going to get someone else's input, or go find out on my own. Like, I like to triangulate the situation. Sure. Okay. So instead, I don't ask. I try. Okay, that's not true. I think I tried to talk to somebody, and they're like, I don't know. They were probably pretending they didn't speak English because they didn't want to be held responsible. Sure. So there was that. So then I said, well, I'm going to go look. And I felt like there was that moment, oh, I shouldn't invoke this person. Oh, I'm going to do it. I'm not bringing, I swear to you, this is not on purpose, but it's like that moment in Men in Black when yes, you know, Chris Rock smacking Will Smith pulls the Mr. chair. Slappy. Like they're all trying to like write, they're trying to write their answers on the sheet of paper, but they don't have a flat surface. And there's one table, and he goes over and he grabs the table and he pulls it, and it makes all that sound. And they're looking at him like, "What are you doing?" That was me in the DMV. I decide I'm just going to walk up ahead of this line. I'm just going to walk around the corner. People are looking at me like, "What's he doing?" Yeah. What's he doing? I went up there. I'm looking around. I go into the space where it's like a giant room that it opens up into, with just a sea of chairs mm-hmm. that have. There's a sea of chairs, and there's digital boards, some of which work, some of which don't, with more numbers and names on them, and actually no, not numbers. There's like phone numbers and then like other numbers. I don't know what they were about, and then there are two doors, like Get Smart kind of sliding doors on either side of the room. Mm-hmm. Like imagine you go to Orlando International, and you know how you can board the one tram that takes you to like gates 1 through 30, and the other one takes you through 30 through 70 or whatever it is. It's kind of like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking, and I'm like, wow, this is like, you want to go to heaven, you want to go to hell. Like this is like it's like, right? So, I'm there. I mean, otherwise this is clearly purgatory that we're in, this waiting room situation, right? Okay. So then I look around and figure out, like, okay, this line is actually for all the people, I almost said a different word, all the people who don't know what they're doing. It's literally the I don't know what I'm doing line. Because when you get to the very end of the line, there's a single window, and it basically, I can't remember exactly what it says, but it like almost in exact words, it was like if you need help,
Right. Yeah. Okay.
It was the help window. 80 people deep.
Jeez.
Waiting for. I'm like, this. And these poor people, they're coming into the mall. They just queue up. They just get in line.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, what are you thinking? So immediately, I said, Henry, I said, okay. So I, of course, me playing it safe, I kept him out there in line. Like, don't you leave this line.
Right.
Because, it's 80 people deep. So I go back out there. I go up to him. I give him this kind of look like, come on, let's go. Like, so he comes out. I get the looks like, why? Who's this guy going? And of course, I just kind of nod, smirk a little bit, and keep going. Right. So we get into the room, and I said, Henry, this is the first lesson. Jury of your peers.
Yeah.
80 of them are queued up, not knowing why they're queued up.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
just assume that that's where you go.
And right. And then there's this moment where I'm thinking, do I bear any responsibility to tell them, like, to go out there and inform them? And I'm thinking, no, I'm not Michelle. I don't need to teach them anything. It's a cold, hard world out there.
It
like,
is.
So.
Because if they don't learn themselves, they'll never. That's it's not gonna stick as a lesson unless they learn it themselves.
Okay, so then the next thing, remember, there's this sea of chair, row after row after row of chairs. It's like airport seating, but worse.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's the monitors that are, most of which are working, but like 2 or 3 are not. And then there's this area, and it's all full. They're all occupied for the most part. Or there's the occasional gap spot where you're like, I'm not sitting there, like, because it would be like, it's like the men's urinal rule, like.
Right. Yeah.
We've talked about that. You can't go. You go into the bathroom.
Buffer
unless there's literally
zone.
only one left. Mm-hmm. You don't go to the one where that's next to some other person.
Right,
you just don't do that. Okay. Just like in a place, you don't go. You don't just walk up and sit in the like unoccupied seat if there's some other seat that's not next to somebody somewhere else. Anyway, but back if you walked towards the back, if you actually just walked in like another 20 feet. You see off to the edge of the room, to the one side, is like a bank of high-top tables, like long high-top tables, the kind you'd find like in a nice cafe, that even have little charging stations on them.
So they really are going for the airport thing.
They're almost unoccupied. There's only like, 4 or 5? Yes! It's a beautiful situation. There's like giant tables, no one there. Henry and I had an entire table to ourselves. And of course, I told Henry, we're sitting right in the middle.
Yeah.
Because no one else is going to sit here. Right? And sure enough, and I'm like, again, lesson number 2.
Yeah. Like, I'm glad you're teaching him the ways of Jason.
Sometimes you just have to walk another 20 feet. And see what's around the corner. Like, oh, look at this. Yeah. And then when you find said treasure, you don't share it.
The Tao of Jason.
Right. So we get there, and then, they're calling out phone numbers. And the time, and like, they're not even time. It's like phone numbers, and then they're telling you what station to go to. That's what it is. So that's how they decide, like, which room you go into. It's the number you get, right? It's like a deli line, but the worst kind of deli line. And where we are sitting, you can't see any board, so you had to kind of like listen, or you had to get up and walk around and look. And so eventually, because we're waiting and we're kind of getting worried, and Henry's. And so, of course, I made him prove to me 16 times that he used his phone number to actually make the appointment so that that's what they would have. So we verified that. He was real thrilled about that. And then I went back outside to, like, I checked every board to see, including the one out with the people. Like, oh, you still here? Okay, have fun. To see. And finally, I found his name. Not his name, but his phone number on the board. Like, okay, we're up there. They just haven't called it yet. So at least it shows you're in processing.
Right, yes. Yeah, you got some kind of positive reinforcement that you are going to be seen at some point.
He was ready to go. He was like, well, we can just go home, come back another day. Like, no.
We haven't gone through all of this just to walk away with nothing.
Mind? We have our own table. Like, what are you talking about?
I do not set my foot in the DMV more than once for a single task.
Right. I've come here so infrequently that I can't remember the system. Because in Florida, though, everything's like my license. In fact, the learners that he does eventually get, spoiler alert, it doesn't expire. It's 10 years. It runs for 10 years. Yeah. He doesn't have to go back to the DMV for, I mean, he will have to for the drivers, but I don't have to go back for like 10 years.
Yeah.
We'll have flying cars by then.
You have to get a flying car license.
You'll still have the regular DMV, but you'll have flying cars.
Yeah.
So we're waiting, doing the thing, all the stuff, and of course I'm not gonna dwell on all the little side stories that we could talk about, including like the guy one table over who's that guy who's on the telephone with someone, but he's speaking to them as if like they're across the room.
Right. As though he like at the same level of volume as if he didn't have a phone and was actually talking to them wherever they are.
It's that guy, the sales guy kind of guy in the airport.
God, I hate that guy.
You're like, what?
I sit behind that guy on airplanes almost every time.
You don't use your not only is your normal voice, if this is your normal voice, it's too loud, number one. But even if you don't use your normal voice in a public environment.
No.
You speak like this. I'm going to talk to you like this. I'm not going to whisper. I'm not whispering, but I'm going to talk to you normally. Yeah. I'm not going to be speaking. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
And you kind of get up and you walk over there. You know, you don't.
Oh no, he had no interest. He wanted everybody to hear his thing. It's a whole booming, whatever. Okay, so our number gets called. Okay, and we get up. And we go in through the sliding doors, and okay, now we're in search for the station. Search of the station. But there's also the sense of urgency, because you know the clock's ticking. They're only going to wait so long.
Right, yeah.
Before they move on to the next number, and then good luck, right? I mean, how long? I don't know. Like, maybe are they? I don't know. They like. Do you get the DMV person by chance that is really like wanting to motor through the day? So like you get like 45 seconds. If you don't show up, they're going to move on to the next person.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's like, longer than 4 or 5 minutes at the most.
Right, or do you get to the person who's like, I don't care if anybody comes or not. I'm going to like,
that's true. I could get that.
I don't know. Yeah. Well, we get this person who we walk up to, and we're wearing masks. It's Florida, people. And it's like 2 weeks ago, Florida. So most people were not wearing masks, even inside in the DMV, right? We were, and the DMV worker, she was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we walk up to the window, say hello. She has an accent of some sort, Caribbean in nature.
Mm.
Okay, and she's wearing a mask. So you can imagine how easy it was to understand her for the next 45 minutes or so while we were doing the things. Okay. Now, keep in mind, Henry has filled out all of the paperwork online.
Right.
Like he's done all of the stuff. Like we like entered all the stuff. I even brought all the things I'm supposed to bring. Right. And now we're there, and she says, "How may I help you?" And the first thing I wanted to say is like, "It's on the reservation." I know. I said, "Here to apply for a learner's permit." Blah blah blah. And okay, and she's like, "I need this, and I did that." Like, well, and here I am, all proud, like, "Here I have this," and of course, I have this. Yes. Oh, birth certificate. Well, here you go. I happen to have that birth certificate. Oh, social security card. Well, of course I have a social security card. Passport. Don't mind if I do. Here's that. Like I have got everything. I've got utility bills to prove that he lives where he lives. I've got all the things. Okay. I even have this piece of paper that you're supposed to print out and like You can, if you're not going to be there as a parent, you can actually go and have it notarized. It's like an affidavit that I am the parent and blah blah blah. And I guess some people maybe send their kid on a bus to the DMV, like, good luck,
good
kid.
Luck. Yeah.
It's like, what kind
and
of
you
parent?
need that I need help window. That's what.
Yeah. So so I said to her, like, do you need this? Because this is this affidavit thing that I read online. I'm supposed to like fill it out, sign it. I did all that, right? And she gave me this look like, and for those of you who aren't watching on YouTube, it was like this like scrunched up like, no, I don't know what that is.
Heck?
Like I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is.
Get that out of here.
What is that? I don't know. She's like, yeah. Scoffing, like, I don't know what that is. I'm like, oh, okay. Thank you for admonishing me in front of my child. And so then, so we're going through this thing, and she's doing all the stuff, and then she's sitting there, and you're waiting, and there's a lot of waiting.
Yeah.
There's a lot of waiting, and I'm thinking, like, is there somebody, like, back there, like, approving what she's putting in? Is it a fact checker of some sort, or is it just like a slow computer? Like, I don't know what she's doing exactly.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a lot of entering, waiting, scanning, waiting, entering, scanning, waiting, scanning, entering, scanning, entering, wait. Like, it's like all this stuff that's happening with like 4 documents. Okay. And then something she would give right back and something she would hold on to. And she, and so then she needed my license too at some point. So I gave her my license too. So at this point, this woman has, I think Henry's passport, birth certificate, social security card, my mortgage statement, the Duke electricity bill, Duke Energy, whatever it's called, bill, probably the water bill. I mean, I have got everything, right? Except for like the piece of belly button that I'm sure my mother kept from when I was a kid, like almost everything. So
Got my has all Spotify stuff.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, poor Henry. Like at this point, if God forbid something happened, like there would be like how would he prove who he is? Like it's all on the other side of this window.
Oh
now.
Yeah, they've got everything.
So let me set that stage. So there's this window separating us, of course. And most of the people at the DMV are standing. Mm-hmm. Or they're sitting, but they're standing and sitting and standing and sitting, right? She never gets up. Now, it's important to know why she never gets up because she is very pregnant.
Yes.
And I know that she's pregnant. I didn't ask her if she's pregnant. I know that she's pregnant because she keeps touching her belly. You know how pregnant ladies do that thing? They're like protecting. They're like, and remember, oh, you're still there. Oh, yes, you're coming soon. Oh, yes, I can feel. Like it's a very loving gesturing. I'm never going in a million years ask like, oh, so when are you due? Like that's the day that somebody's like, I'm not pregnant. Oh, I'm not. But
somehow the other side of that is just as bad. If you're like, oh, you're rather fat, aren't you? Oh no, I'm pregnant. Oh, that you would think that would be like the happy version of that, but no, that's just as bad.
Yeah. At your age. No.
Wow, in this economy,
aren't you a little old timey for this?
What are you, Mary Steenburgen?
That might be my favorite insult ever. All right, so it's like an insult without actually being an insult, but it's
it doesn't even really mean anything.
So this is what happens next. She has all the stuff. On the other side of the little window, she sends us. She also has him do like the eye exam thing. She hands and to do the eye exam thing, she basically hands over this tiny little, the little stamps that I think they used to put LSD on were larger than what she hands us. and it's like a little tiny strip of like a little alcohol pad, but not a. It's like a tiny little square of alcohol paper to clean off the thing, because we're now self-cleaning the vision test thing.
Oh, right? That, yeah.
But I'm looking and I'm like, okay, I got to use this sparingly. Like, I can't even trust Henry with it. I'm like, no, you give that to me.
It's like it was put in one of those dispensers, almost like a Kleenex thing, and you pulled it, and just the corner came off between your fingers.
Yes, it's the size. To say it's the size of my thumbnail, it's not It is not an exaggeration. Wow. I do not have a big thumb, and so I'm thinking, what's the worst part? I got to start first. Like, where's the worst possible part of this? I don't know.
The cleansing.
I don't know. I want to know, like, well, like what was the other guy like who was here last? You know, like what? No, I don't have time for that. It's
Did
evaporating.
Did he feel a little more like a dirty forehead guy or a dirty chin guy? What would you assess that guy?
Right. Okay, so I did a little cleany thing, and then I realized there's no trash can.
Of course, there's not.
So now, what am I supposed to do with this? Like, I can't just like litter it and leave it. What am I supposed to do with this? So I had a pocket. I'm putting it in my pocket. It's probably still there.
Oof.
Yeah. So okay. So he passes that. Gets that done. She, at some point when she's asking questions, and she can't. I'm translating. Poor Henry. He can't understand a word she's saying. Yeah. She's asking a question. He's like so zoned out. I think at this point he's just like, you know, like Randy just, you know, it's like the little kid from Christmas Story. Randy's like, he just laid there like a slug. It was his only defense kind of thing. Like it was like, he's just like not moving. And she's saying stuff, and I'm looking at him like, this is what she's asking you. And he'll respond. And sometimes
sort of saturated at that point.
Right. But I can't respond for him because he has to be affirming the things. So some of the questions she asked, let me give you. One, what's your race?
Mm-hmm. It's like, no, not 10K, no.
What? Actually, and at first, I think she said, like, she said, what's your race? And then I'm like waiting for him to respond. And, okay, Marcus, remember the situation. This is a pregnant Caribbean woman.
Yes.
Asking two white guys.
Yeah, two canaps.
What our race is.
Yeah.
I look at her. There's a long pregnant pause, no pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at her like, are you serious? Like what do
In her defense, she can't assume.
No, I know that. I realize that. But when she says, what's your race? I'm like, what do you, and then she says, I think she can see this like look on my face. Because I want to know, like, my next question, like, okay, because this is what I end up saying is, what are my options?
What are my options?
And then she looks at me like, I don't know if she doesn't, I don't think she understands what I just asked. So I said, like, and then before she says ethnicity, like, what's your ethnicity? I'm like, maybe I have it backwards. Maybe she asked ethnicity first, which was really peculiar. Like, how much? I'm a mutt. Like, I don't know. What do you mean my ethnicity? Like, I'm.
Have you never had to answer that question before?
Like a little German, a little English, a little Scandinavian. Like, right? She's asking, what's your ethnicity? I'm like, what? I don't know. And then that's when she says, your race. What's your race? I said, oh. And this is where it got awkward.
Oh, this is where it got awkward.
I said, we're white. Like, look at us. I didn't say look at us, but like, I'm like, we're white. And then I'm like, oh no, I don't know if I can say that. Or Caucasian. Like just in case that's not an option. Caucasian, I know Caucasian sometimes is an option.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say white.
I don't know. Like, what's wrong with you? All of a sudden, I felt all self-conscious. Like I'm white.
White.
I'm white. Don't tell. I'm white.
I'm a cracker.
It's like, I didn't know it was weird. And she gave me this look like, okay. And like, did I pass?
I mean, before you even said the word white, even if she was blind, she would have known from your stammering and your craziness. It's a white guy.
Right. And so then she asks him, would you like to register to vote? And I'm like, I look at him because I don't want to answer that for him. And he's like really thinking about it. Like,
why would you not?
I was like, Henry, why just do it? You're here, just do it.
Might as well.
And he's like, and then she says, I guess sensing his like, I don't know, reluctance or something. She says, well, you can do it another time. Like, you can do it when you come for your driver's license. You can do it then. And I'm like, I know, but why not? Because he's like, well, I can't.
Taken care of, yeah.
Why don't you just do it? I think he was perplexed because, like, well, he can't. He's too young to vote. But it's like, lock it in now. Lock it in now.
Yeah.
It's a pain to have to go and register to vote. You know, despite what people will tell you, it actually is a process to have to go do it. So you might as well just do it. You might as well just do it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's Florida. In Florida, it's a process. Okay. So he opts to not register to vote, which is my first concern. Now I've got this little kernel planted in my mind of anxiety that, oh no, he's embarrassed to tell me what his political orientation is. Like, oh no, good, because I know I'm 90% sure that's why he said he's going to hold off, because I think he didn't want to have the conversation on the way home. Is almost certainly what it was going to be. You know, I'm sure if he said like independent, I'm like, come on, you just haven't even thought about it, have you? So okay.
I would respect independent. That would be okay.
Yeah, okay, whatever. So
not in this house, buddy.
So you don't want to count. Basically, you don't want to count. I get it. I understand. You don't want to count. I mean, if you're in a state where there's open ballots,
Just
where
don't
you
want
can kind
spam.
This is true. That's true. Good luck with that. So then, like, you know, a minute or two later, she's like, would you like to be an organ donor? And he looks at her,
play the guitar,
and then at me, as if she's asking him, like, would you like to give one of your organs now?
Right. Would you like to go with Dr. Scary and donate
he says,
an organ?
And he's like, yeah, I guess, yeah, like, what does he say? Like pediatric organ. Like, I think he's thinking of himself as like a child.
Yeah.
I said, Henry, no, you have adult organs now.
Yeah.
You're 16.
And your organs will take care of that.
Don't worry about that. Right. You don't have to categorize your organs anymore.
Kids his age is that, like, he's trying to do some of the policing here. And it's like, no,
yeah,
it's
like,
cool. They know how old you are. So the vote thing is fine. And they also won't put your organs in somebody that the organ won't work for. That they'll take care of that, dude. It's cool. You don't have to worry about that.
So he says yes. And I look at him and I say, so you, in this moment, I said, this is literally what I said out loud in front of him. And I said, so in this moment, you decided to donate an organ, but not to vote, not to register to vote. Somehow you're able to, like, come to wrap your mind around, like, your mortality and the possibility that you could give something that's going to save someone's life, or many or multiple people's lives.
Body.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm not going to register to vote just yet.
Right.
It's too much. That's too much.
He looks at me like, I don't know. He probably thinking, like, I knew you'd give me a hard time if I said no to that.
He's thinking I would give you a hard time. Has not informed any of your decisions today.
So then it's time to have the photograph taken.
Oh boy.
Okay. So remember, she can't get up.
Mm-hmm.
So she's trying to give us directions. Now, you know how good I am about audible directions, and Henry he's not really with us fully at this point.
Yeah.
Like And she's speaking in a Caribbean accent through a mask, giving audible directions about where to go to get this picture. She may as well have been telling me where the Ark of the Covenant is buried, because I'm like, oh boy. All I could remember is the number of the station. And then I went on the hunt, because there's like all these little places to go and stuff. So we finally found this spot. And I know she's watching us like, oh, look at these dumb white people. Like, seriously?
These are white, non-Hispanic people right here.
They have never been to the DMV before. So we're walking down. We finally find the spot, and he sits down. And it's weird because it's all remote. So like,
yeah,
she's literally waiting for him to get to the right spot. Mm-hmm. And then when we finally get to the right spot and sit down, there's no intercom. There's no.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
You just sit there and you hope that you're in the right spot, and then it flashes.
And that you're looking in the right place. You're not in the middle of a sneeze or something.
And he walks back, and then she's like, and I think she like showed him the thing. It's like, is that good? And he's like, okay. I can't remember whether she asked or not. Okay.
I think as soon as a teenager comes in, they're like, nah, it's your first one. That's the one that's going to be the one.
So we still haven't gotten to the most anxious part of the situation.
Have we not?
No. So we're standing there. She still has the stuff. Mm-hmm. She's beginning now, like, to hand the things back that she doesn't need anymore. And there's the birth certificate. And so I'm getting the thing, and I am sweating bullets, because between the side that we're on and the side that she's on, and the window where the window comes down, there's a small gap that she's handing things through. Okay, mm-hmm. Between these two pieces of desk and counter, there is a crack. There is a sizable crack. Like not just a crack, but also like it has a gap. Like it's meant to be there for like peripheral cords to like connect to a computer or something.
Yeah, okay.
But that's not being used for that purpose anymore. It's just there. It's just there to create basically a leap to the death or something. Like this is basically this space that almost certainly I see the passport, the birth certificate, and the social security card falling down into. Okay.
Yeah, and you figure that's a pocket dimension to wherever it is.
Well, okay. Here's the thing.
Event Horizon ship went to.
Henry is like just like very passively gathering things. I'm like, no, okay, let me take this. I'm like no, and he's giving me a look like, what's your deal? What's the problem? You know, it's a common look that I get, and so I'm taking great care to get these things, because I explained to him later. He's literally texting me right now. I don't know why he's texting me. He can tell. So
this is why we don't do a live show.
As I explained to him later, that why I was so anxious about it, I said, Henry, we're at the DMV. She is pregnant. She's not getting up for anything. Mm-hmm. Like, she can't. Like, if one of our pieces of paper falls down the crack, he's like, should just go under the desk and get it? No! She can't just go under the desk and get it. She's going to have to flag down a manager. I don't know how long that's going to take. If that falls down that crack, like, it's going to become a whole thing. She's going to have to get a manager who's then going to have to come over and crawl under the desk. Who knows how long this is going to take? I just want to get out of here. Like, this is why I was paying close attention to this DMV Crack. Like, this is like, and then finally, I also have this ritual. Whenever I've handed my license to somebody, I keep my wallet in my hand.
Yeah.
It's the reminder that I have something. I'll do this in a restaurant too with credit cards. If I've handed my credit card over, I will keep the wallet in my hand until I get it back. So, she says at one point, she says, is there anything else? And I said to her, my license. Because when you say to somebody, is there anything else? That implies that we've reached the conclusion of this particular chapter, right? Like it's like go in peace, serve the Lord moment of a professional conversation. Like, is there anything else? So I'm assuming that you forgot to give me my license back. Mm-hmm. She looks at me and she says, she's like, no, I still need this. Okay.
What does she need your license for?
Because 2 reasons. Number 1, she had to put my information in so that she could hand me the piece of paper to sign that she scoffed at the beginning of the conversation. I had already completed the piece of paper that needed to be signed. I did that at home. I brought it with me. She didn't know. Apparently no one does that because she didn't know what that was. But she literally hands me the same piece of paper. It's just she's now printed it out herself, and I am now signing it again and handing it back to her. I really wanted to just hand her the original one and see what she would do.
Right.
Like, the font's different, but otherwise is she going to even notice? Okay, so there's that. Then she also needed, we had to pay, right? So there's a little like there's a swipey thing, like those little like plastic swipe thingies.
Yeah.
And then there's like a full-fledged terminal, like you would insert your credit card into with like a little keypad on it and stuff.
Right, sure, yeah.
And so in my experience in the past, when you go to these places, like typically it's like cash, check, or ATM. They don't like to use your the credit card thing because they don't want to pay merchant services fees and stuff. Okay, so I'm all prepared for that. So she says, cash, blah, blah, blah. And I said debit, because I'm like, and I almost never use my debit card. So, and she says, okay. And then she says, just swipe it. And I'm like, well, why don't I put it in the thingy? Like, because I want, like, because it's cheaper for this. It's cheaper for you guys if I just do it that way. No, just swipe. I'm trying to explain to her, like, you need to care about this because, like, the tax collection, like they'll want
she
to
hasn't
save
done this 500 times today already.
Just swipe, just swipe it. But it's the kind of swipe thing that's like not really nailed down anywhere. You kind of have to have to hold it. Anyway, so I did that thing. Somehow it read it. I used the pen that's attached to this piece of chain that it's like wedged in the crack, and so I can't actually fully sign anything. Like I have to I'm like. And at one point I tried to like yank it, and it's kind of just kind of pulled me back in. Like it was that is like it's stuck, man. It's stuck. And she's like not even perplexed by any of this. Like, oh, yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah, that's the chain.
That's just how it is.
Chain
yeah,
pen.
That's how it is. So I sign. Okay. She needed my license in the end to verify, I guess, the credit card. The payment. Marcus, this woman has seen my driver's license, my utility bills, mortgage statement, birth certificate with my name on it for Henry, the passport of Henry's. Like, she's seen every like personal identifying bit of information.
You are well identified.
Right. Yet she needed to retain the driver's license to compare it to, I guess, what prints out of the thing.
I guess.
Because possibly I could be using a different, like someone else's credit. But the name's on the sheet of paper. Like, it's right there on the screen. You've seen, like, why?
You've looked at a version of my name on everything you've seen since I walked up.
It was. But I'm not going to argue. She hands the license back over gently.
Everybody's got their procedures.
Making sure it doesn't fall through the crack.
Right.
And then we have to proceed to the window to pick up the license, and then we left. And I mean, I'm sending Michelle for the next one. I can't. I'm not doing this again. I can't. I just can't. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. On the way home, he's hung. We get into the car, and he says, "Can we stop for food? Can we get some food?" I'm like, it's like 2 o'clock in the. I guess sure, whatever, fine, okay, we'll stop for food. We'll get food. And we're looking to see like what's convenient. Well, there happens to be a Popeyes.
Yeah.
On the way home, I'm like, oh, Popeye. Well, Michelle told me that I'm not eating chicken or anything, but they brought their fish sandwich back.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh yeah, let's go to Popeyes. I want to get the fish sandwich. So we go to Popeyes. We get in the line for Popeyes. The drive-in, drive-through line. And then that thing happens. That always happens to me in drive-throughs where it's just it's the PTSD I have from being a child and being in the drive-through with my mother and having to hide in the floor of the back seat as she orders chicken McNuggets from Burger King. Like I can't. To this day, like it still haunts me. You need and we've talked about this too. When you're in line and you like get to the menu, you get to the order, and you haven't figured out what you want. Like
right, you don't know where the sides are. Cool.
Right. But the problem is in these drive-through situations, if they don't, most of them do not have proper sign placement. So
no, that's true.
A lot of times you can't know, especially if it's like in McDonald's, you kind of need to know going in what you're. But like Popeyes, I don't know what it's been years since I went to Popeyes.
Yeah.
So we get there, and I don't even know why I'm feeling pressure. I don't even know if there's somebody behind me. I just feel like I don't want them to know that I don't know what I'm doing. When I get up to the window, I want it
You're very judgmental at the Popeyes.
Yeah. Okay. But I knew I want the fish sandwich. So all I had to do was find the fish. There it is. Okay, I'm ordering the fish sandwich. And then I turn to Henry and I give him the look like, you better know what you want. But I didn't look at that. I was like, okay, what would you like? Because I'm also on stage. I don't want them judging me for being a jerk to my son.
Yeah.
So I'm like, son, what would you like? As I give him the look. And he's looking, and now having some of my genes, my DNA. and boy, was I proud the other day when I can't remember exactly the context, but he says something like, I generally avoid all human contact whenever possible. It's like, yes, my boy. That's my boy. Yes. I'm so proud. So he's over there and he orders, what is he like? I don't know. It was like again another Christmas Story reference. It was like when Ralphie was like finally at Santa and he's like, "What do you want, kid?" And he's like, a football? Yeah, a football. Okay, get him off my lap. It was that moment because Henry's like he's like looking, and I'm just like, I think he said like tender, like I don't know. He just said like tenders or chicken tenders or I'll give you like a number 4. Yeah, the combo. Oh sure, the combo. Okay, and then they say, and so combo number 4, and they say, okay, which side would you like?
Yeah.
Side. Well, this is
what are my choices?
Yeah, like
Caucasian.
So